Who's going to be the first new Miami Hurricane to arrive in the portal? And we are going to talk to a true Hurricane fan legend.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricane, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, your host. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. Available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. We are going to chat with today. I'm so excited because honestly, our guest today, he is one of the good guys. And really, to Canes fans, he needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. Danny Boy Kane is with us, podcast host. He is the king of the Twitter spaces. Danny, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, sir. How are you?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and it's long overdue, man. I don't know why I didn't extend the invite earlier. And man, so everybody, Danny, they're asking me, and I'm sure they're asking you as well, when's Mario going to start landing transfer portal players? I think Alabama offensive lineman Javion Cohen, he's been the primary target since the portal opened, and I think he could end up being one of the first big ones to land. He's taking a visit this weekend. Do you think Javion Cohen's going to be a Cane?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, it's Alabama. It's offensive line. Look at the success they've had. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Like you said, I think we will get Javion Cohen. I really think we'll get him.
Oh, man. And this is like one of these players, Danny, where, I know that in certain situations, guys will enter the portal because they're not happy with their playing time or they're not doing really well. This guy's been a starter at Bama for the last couple of years. And I'm thinking what that offensive line could look like with hopefully Zion Nelson coming back completely healthy. And then you could plug Javion Cohen into the left guard. You still got Jalen Rivers and Inez Cooper. You're bringing in someone like Francis Mauigoa and all the other top O-linemen that Miami's bringing in. Do you think O-line could go from a weakness to a strength in just 1 year?
Absolutely. Think about it. You get a healthy Zion. Let's say you get Cohen at the left side. Remember, we forget about Ja'Kai Clark at center.
That's right. Yeah.
Ja'Kai Clark. You got Inez. You have Mauigoa. And let me tell you something. That line is going to be a strength. And you have Alex Mirabal, one of the best O-line coaches in the country, and Mario Cristobal, absolutely, who preaches O-line play. He was a lineman himself. That's his baby. There's no way it's going to be a weakness for too long. It will be a strength sooner than later.
Now, there's a situation we've been monitoring for the past several months, and that's on Samson Okunlola, the Pancake Honcho. And I know you and I have both been monitoring all the tweets because you and I are both way too active on Twitter. Like we're all over it, man. Yeah. And with Samson's been considered a Miami lean since back in the summer. He's the 5-star offensive tackle out of Massachusetts. And, he recently took a Florida unofficial visit a few weeks ago. Apparently it went well. He scheduled his final official visit to Florida before announcing his commitment a couple days after that. Are you worried about Florida, or do you think Miami still has the edge here?
I had a space the other night with Gio Milian, who does a great job, by the way, recruiting. If you get a chance, follow him on Twitter. Great job. We had him on. And we asked about Pancake Honcho. Me, and D. Briz. We have been, especially Briz and I, we have been bullish on Honcho. We've been bullish on Pancake Honcho. More so him than me. I'm going to say, after listening to Gio the other night on my space, I will dare say we will land Pancake Honcho on Thursday.
Yes! I hope you're right.
Here's why. Now, I am concerned about that last visit to Florida. That does concern me a little bit. Because he's going to, you ever know when you in basketball, you take the last, you want to be the one that takes the last shot. They're going to get the last shot this weekend. In fact, tomorrow. My gut tells, remember, and Samson's games are on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So that's why he hasn't done anything as much. But when I heard Gio tell me this the other night, say he feels confident that we will land Pancake Honcho on Thursday, I felt at ease, and I feel when push comes to shove, here's the thing: when Mario wants somebody, Mario gets him. I think we will land Pancake Honcho on Thursday.
Oh, listen, man, you're making me feel a lot better about this, because this is one of the ones I've been nervous about. Now, I wanted to bring up a name with you that we talked a lot about this player on this show earlier this week, but it's been a couple days, so I think this is a great time to revisit, and that's on Justin Flowe. So Justin Flowe, he was recruited by Mario Cristobal to be an Oregon Duck. Was one of the top players in the country in his recruiting class, top linebacker, 5-star. Flo has had injury troubles his first couple of years with the Ducks. He's in the portal. Is this someone you think Miami is interested in, and do you think it's mutual?
I think it's mutual. I mean, in fact, they've been on the phone the last couple of days. I mean, they've been married. It's been ringing nonstop from what Flo's been saying. But I'm going to tell you this. I think we will land Justin Flowe. I think when it's all said and done, we will get Justin Flowe as a Miami Hurricane, because Mario wants, like I said, when Mario wants somebody, Mario usually gets them.
Man, yeah, no, you're right about that. We're talking with Danny Boy Kane, who does an incredible job with his podcasts and on the spaces. And I do want to ask Danny a little bit later on how he was able to get Jimmy Johnson on a space earlier this year. But, I want to get to some more recruiting stuff first. You and I, we've had conversations about the running back room. We know Miami needs running backs badly. I'm feeling optimistic about Christopher Johnson from Dillard. I'm kind of 50-50 on Mark Fletcher between Miami and Florida. Well, what's your outlook on the running back room? Because, maybe current Miami running backs may not be done hitting the portal yet. We got a lot of needs there.
Yeah, absolutely. From what I was told from a source regarding the running back room, they are not happy with Kevin Smith. They are not happy with him. And it would not shock me if one more player from that room, and we only have 3 on scholarship now. Cheney, Citizen, who's, by the way, is about a year away from coming back, and Henry Parrish. Now, with Citizen, I was told 12 to 16 months on his recovery time from that ACL. Uh-huh. But in reality, with medicine today, someone else told me 6 to 9 months. So if it's the latter, he's back in May. I'm hopeful he's back in August. I don't think he plays the opener September 2nd against Miami, Ohio. I think more maybe September 9th against A&M. It's possible, but I would think maybe either the 16th if we have a game there, or the 23rd at Temple could be the time frame, optimistic time frame to see Citizen back. That's the way I look at it. He's not going to be in the spring. Yeah. So you can forget in the spring. He's not going to be there. It's fall now, maybe a little bit in fall camp. We'll have to see how his injury comes along. But based on what I was also told, 6 to 9 months today's medicine, recovery from ACLs. I'm thinking more about 12 months.
Okay, and it's probably and it's probably good to make like a conservative estimate on that. So, what do you think about running backs coming in? Because I feel pretty good about Chris Johnson. How do you feel about Johnson? Mark Fletcher, who Miami's at war with Florida for. And then I see Seven McGee, who's another Oregon guy that Mario recruited. He's taking a visit to Miami, he tweeted. So how are we feeling about some of these guys?
I feel believe it or not, I feel pretty good about the running back room. I mean, I remember, like I said, we only have 3 scholarship. One more may hit the portal before it's all said and done. But I feel you want to shore that running back room up. But the question is, how will the incoming class feel about Kevin Smith? That's been what I was told. The running backs room, the running backs that left were not too happy with him, from what I was told.
That's very interesting. All right, folks, we're going to talk a little bit more recruiting, transfer portal, and I got to talk about the awesome stuff that our friend Danny Boy Kane is up to right after we talk about the great folks at betonline.net. Guys, You do not want to go into a big sports betting weekend not being armed with the best possible information to succeed, and that's what you get at BetOnline. It is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer, esports. We've got it all at BetOnline. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. Available free wherever you get your podcasts, available free on YouTube. We are sitting down with the man, the myth, the legend, Danny Boy Kane. So happy that Daniel stopped by. I want to talk about the wide receiver room, Daniel, because, Miami's getting a couple of good ones, confirmed, well, somewhat confirmed for the class of 2023, and Robbie Washington and Ray Joseph. They are recruiting others, and they're looking in the transfer portal, guys like Dante Thornton from Oregon, Ra Thomas from Mississippi State. What's your outlook on the wide receiver room for next year? Because we definitely need more production from that position.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely need to have that. Also, note, Jacoby George will be back next year, by the way. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I think the wide receiver room is going to be solid. I mean, we're going to get guys that come in that want to play, that want to contribute right away. It's good to have guys back. Like, hopefully we get that kid Thomas from Mississippi State. Don't know if Frank Latzin's back next year. Is he coming back?
I believe he is. I think he's got another year of eligibility. Yeah,
yes,
he should
good
be.
To hopefully get Frank back. X is coming back. That's a big deal. Having X back to be leaders, have to be the leader in that room. And I like X. You could tell we missed X this year.
Oh yeah,
you could definitely tell we missed X without question.
No, we did without question, man. I want to ask you a big picture question here, because Daniel, coming out of 5 and 7, a lot of us were expecting, year one. I still have faith long term in Mario. I just want to put that out there. But a lot of people were expecting, maybe 9-10 wins even the first year. 5 and 7 season, really tough. Do you feel confident still that Cristobal is the right guy to get this all turned around?
Absolutely. And I've seen troll tweets saying that Mario needs to be fired. That is so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. It's asinine. It's asinine. Okay? It's asinine.
It is.
I mean, listen, Mario is the right guy. He's going to get this fixed. And if you heard him in his post-game press conferences, he said, we're going to do this. What they did to us this year, we're going to start doing to opponents very soon. And I believe it.
Now, seems like you've been pretty active, tweeting about possible future stadium sites for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You've probably noticed this as well, Danny, that there's so many debates among the fan base, because a lot of people think, hey, Miami needs their own Hurricanes football stadium. Then other people will say, no, Hard Rock is fine. It's an NFL facility. Don't even worry about it. Where do you fall on that? Do you think the Canes need their own stadium?
At some point, yes. Right now, I think we're happy with Hard Rock. And from what I was reading, Metro Rail has a plan to extend their service up to Hard Rock Stadium. That's what I was reading.
That would be great.
That would be great. That would be excellent. That being said, I think I did talk to the Ruizes about this. I did bring this up on a tweet. Say there was a site that was open, but some sites said, some other sites, they say they need 25 acres, and the sites they've looked at, aside from tropical, are just too small. So I think eventually Tropical Park's going to get done, and I think it's going to get done sooner rather than later.
Ooh.
In my opinion.
How soon? Like in how many years do you think?
Now, remember that lease in Hard Rock, I believe, goes to the 2030s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's very long. I know that.
Yeah, that there has been talks that they would try to get out of that lease at Hard Rock, but nothing of note on that. But I'm going to say, remember, with USF getting their own on-campus stadium, that's going to be done by 26. In fact, they want to open, when they open their first home game, wants to be against us.
Oh, yeah.
I've been talked. I've read a lot about that here in Tampa. But I think if I had to put gun to my head right now, I would say by the late 2020s, we have our own stadium at Tropical. If we put gun to my head now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I do think it's important. I think having your own stadium at some point, I do think it can help the program. But I think the first priority, and it looks like this is their first priority, is improving like the everyday on-campus facilities, because we've seen the plans that they have for the new on-campus center. Because listen, as important as a stadium is, that's somewhere you play 6 or 7 times a year versus the day-to-day facilities. You're in those basically 365 days a year.
Oh, yeah. I like that space. I saw the renderings of it. Say, wow, that would be huge if we get that done. Yeah. That would be huge when we get that done. No question about it.
Yeah, hopefully it gets approved and they can raise the funds needed for that. So listen, I wanted to talk a little bit about what you're up to, Danny, because again, I think every Canes fan needs to have Danny Boy Kane in their life. From your podcast, which you've been doing you told me you've been doing this for 5 years, right?
About 5 years, that's correct.
Yeah.
5 years. I've had my podcast. I interview writers from across the country that cover the other team. And I get a sense what they want to do, how they prepare for us, and what their game plans are going to be like to prepare for Miami. And I give them an idea of how we prepare for the opponents as well. But yeah, I've done it for 5 years. Next year will be my 6th year of doing it on Anchor. And I think I have my own niche there. I think I do pretty well with it. I think it's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do, and I think I'm going to continue to do it for quite a while.
Yeah, man, it's good, and I know I know how being in this business, how much commitment and how much work it takes to keep a show going for 5+ years. So I commend you on that, Danny, because I see a lot of people will start a show and start a podcast, and it flames out within a few months. They don't stick with it. Like you're in this now 5+ years and counting, and you do a very good job. I've listened, so I commend you for that.
Thank you. I usually do it during football season, though. I will do an occasional one in the off season, maybe during football, maybe basketball. Maybe a little bit, maybe a baseball space from time to time. In fact, I do baseball spaces with a guy named Pomon, who's a savant when it comes to baseball. The guy, I enjoy the space with him. He does a tremendous job. He knows the game. I want to see baseball get more exposure. I really want to see that. And Pomon and I are trying to do that. So I think we're going to continue to do that going forward.
How long have you been a Canes fan? Like how did you fall in love with the U?
Well, little interesting. I used to follow Georgia when I was a kid. A guy named Herschel Walker.
I remember him.
Great running back. Not the Walker now. Not the
right. The football player.
The football player. Herschel Walker was one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. Okay. I started following the Canes in 1980. Now, 1981, okay. I don't think people give that team the credit it deserves. It went 9-2. It lost 2 close games that year. But because of probation, we did not go to a bowl game. And that was one of Howard's better teams before 83. Everyone thought 82 we were going to take that next step, but Kelly got hurt, and then we went down a little bit. Then Bernie comes in as a freshman in 83, loses at Florida in the opener, and then goes on to win 11 in a row, win the title. And I've been a Cane ever since that day. Really since that day, to be quite honest.
Dude, I love that. And it must be really, really cool, to do. You talked a little bit earlier about the Twitter spaces you do. You guys had Jimmy Johnson on the space earlier during the season. How did you make that happen?
Well, a lot of work went behind the scenes with that. A lot of work went behind that. Number one, we had to have a lot of planning for that. I did that with 2 associates, Vic and Gio. What we did with that is we got a list of, we prepared questions. We worked on questions. We each had questions, and our guy behind the scenes told us these were the hosts we had to have to get Jimmy Johnson. we got it. And we asked him about his career. We had at one time in that space over 6,000 people in that space.
Oh man, that's big time.
We had Melvin Bratton on. We had a lot. I think we had Zoe on also. Wow. And that was one of. I think I'll give you a link offline on that. But yeah, we got that space done. It took a lot of work, but we were the first to do it. We were the first. The Orange Bowl boys wanted them. Every other podcast wanted them. Vic, Gio, and I got them.
Wow. Dude, sensational. Yeah, and I can remember, and I love the Orange Bowl boys. I remember them.
They do great work.
They do fantastic work. No, absolutely. And I remember, I remember them talking on an episode a while back about how they were having trouble getting Jimmy on. It's because Danny Boy is the one who makes things happen, man. And I'd love to get Jimmy on sometime as well. He's fantastic. And listen, Mr. Danny, I cannot thank you enough for the great work that you do. I feel like you're an ambassador for Canes fans around the world. And the thing is, man, something that you and I have in common is, we're honest. Like we'll tell you when we're not feeling good about something. Like I remember you were spot on something because a few weeks back, you were the first person I saw ever say that Darrell Jackson may be looking to hit the transfer portal, and he did. And so, you're honest. You're an optimistic guy, but if there's something not so good happening,
and here's the thing, Alex, I don't like ripping you on. I really hate doing it. I will never do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you a story. And I went to the Pitt game in 2002. I think Jimmy Johnson was the coach of the Dolphins, and Dan Marino was there. And they say the Dolphins were doing not so well at the time. I will never rip Jimmy Johnson, and I will never rip Dan Marino. And they told me I wasn't going to choose. If you put me on the spot, I'm not gonna do it. I will never rip Jimmy, and I will never rip Dan Marino.
Yeah,
that's how much I revere them.
Yeah. Oh, no, fair enough. But I appreciate the fact that you're a positive guy, and I am as well. Like I don't feast off of negativity, and I know you don't either. So I like that. We are kindred spirits in that way. And I want everyone to make sure you follow Danny's podcast, Miami Hurricanes Talk with Danny. Find it on Anchor. He does a fantastic job.
And it's also on Spotify, by the way. I want to add that point there too. On Spotify, the video portion, I added the video
cool.
podcast this year. It's on Spotify, though. Spotify's got issues with that, trying to get it in, not all are on there. So, yeah, if you see it, just follow it, listen to it. I mean, that's all I got to say on that.
I love it. Yeah, and make sure you follow him on Twitter as well. You see the handle. It's at Daniel.
Let me also add this point. I will be on Instagram. I'm on Instagram now, Daniel the Cane 13. And I'm toying with the idea of Facebook, of going over to Facebook, doing some Facebook Lives probably after the first of the year. Okay. But yeah, I'll still be doing Twitter. I just won't be doing Twitter as much.
I see.
As much. I'll still be doing Twitter mostly for spaces, namely. If there's a big story, I'll do that. But aside from that, no.
I love it. So you heard he mentioned the Instagram. The Twitter is at Daniel44943553. Write that down. And my friend, I will not be a stranger. I hope to talk to you again soon. And I'll see you on the Twitter space. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend coming up.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen. Make sure you make Locked On Sports Today your second listen, giving you the take of the day, instant reactions, big game recaps. It's available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. We'll talk to you guys again throughout the weekend on Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.